Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Through Africa, the program where we discuss Africa in details. We talk about its history, we talk about politics, agriculture, health, education, and a lot more. It is still me, your host, Mercy Bambola. And today we'll be talking about Tanzania's build-up to the October 2025 elections. To discuss about this topic in details, I'll be speaking with Haitham Ahmad Khamis, who is a political and international relations student at Ankara Medical University. Hello, Haitham.
Hello, Mercy. Thank you for having me here today.
You're welcome, and you're welcome to the show again. So we'll be discussing Tanzania's, political scene today, and I want us to start with what is majorly going on right now. We know that recently there's been the campaign, the No Reform, No Election campaign, coming up in most parts of the country. So what exactly does this campaign mean, or what does it entail?
Well, the No Reform, No Election is a campaign led by some opposition groups in Tanzania, particularly the opposition main party, which is Chadema. So this is a call for general electoral reforms ahead of the elections of 2025. But also they argue for changes like an independent electoral commission that is not associated with the government, but they're also calling for an independent body that deals with elections overall-wise. Because the government of Tanzania argues that the electoral laws in the country are fair and transparent, and they are maintaining levels of democracy. But as a political science and international relations student, I see this as a part of a vibrant democratic debate in Tanzania, which is really crucial in terms of democratic growth. So the opposition is becoming stronger and stronger in Tanzania, and also they're doing really, really well to recall for an independent body, despite the fact that the government keeps on insisting that the Tanzania Electoral Commission is an independent body and maintains its own working independently as a separate entity.
All right, thank you there. So you just answered some of the parts of the second question I was going to ask you about the reaction of the government. When we see opposition parties come up like this, we have the government also saying things in reaction. So what has been the general reaction of the government? What has the government been doing towards this campaign?
Okay, the Tanzanian government has taken a measured approach, acknowledging the concerns raised by the campaign and also engaging with various political parties and civil society and other groups to address them. But Tanzania prides itself on a culture of dialogue, but not just a culture of dialogue, rooted in our founding principles of unity and peace under leaders like Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. So, as I said before, that the government has clearly stated the electoral timeline for October 2025 remains on track, but also the preparations are underway to ensure that there is a transparent process going on. So, for instance, the voter registration is currently going on, and the group of people that are turning up for the voting registration is really, really high at the moment. And as a Tanzanian, I feel happy for that because people are showing a very strong public participation. But as a student in Turkey, I've seen how other countries navigate political tensions. So I believe Tanzania's balancing dialogue approach with adherence to legal frameworks, it does demonstrate a commitment to stability. So this has been a very good reaction from the government.
Okay, great there. The government has been reacting. And we know that, part of the opposition group, the leaders of the opposition groups like Tundu Lissu, we know that he's one of, the opposition leaders. This group of people, will they be allowed to freely run through the election without intimidation or legal obstructions in this coming election?
Well, Tanzania's democratic system is built on the principle that all eligible citizens, including the opposition leaders, they have the right to participate in elections. So provided that they all meet the legal requirements. So when it comes to legal obstructions, the government has repeatedly affirmed its commitment to a fair process where candidates can compete openly. But if we refer to individuals like Tundu Lissu, as you said, any legal matters are handled by the Tanzania's independent judiciary system, which follows due process to ensure fairness. So this means that all legal cases are judged based on evidence and not any political affiliation. So this is a cornerstone of the Tanzanian rule of law. So as an international relations student, I believe Tanzania is striving to uphold both. So the government's focus is accountability, and I believe I believe there can be a very open environment whereby all voices are allowed to participate in the elections. So yes, there's a legal proceeding going on with Tundu Lissu, but as I said, that when it comes to running for elections, the judiciary will do its job independently, and if all the requirements, legal requirements, and eligible requirements are met by the opposition party, yes, everybody can run for the presidential seat freely, including Tundu Lissu as well.
Definitely, definitely. You also mentioned while we were having the first set of discussions, initially that registration is underway, and this means that a lot of voters are going to register. They are hoping that they will have a free and fair election in October. Generally, how are Tanzanians, preparing towards these elections? How are they reacting to the campaign on one end, the opposition party on another end, and then the government?
Well, we as Tanzanians are approaching the October 2025 elections with a strong sense of civic participation, right, and civic responsibility, because the NEC, the National Electoral Commission, is actively conducting voter registration, as I said, and the reports suggest that there's a very high turnout of this, with millions registering across the urban and rural areas. But also, on the other hand, civic education campaigns are widespread, informing citizens about their rights and voting procedures. But also, as a Tanzanian, I'm inspired by the enthusiasm. It reflects our deep commitment to democracy. But the government itself, they're proceeding with the campaigns, and they're trying their best to push the people to conduct their right to vote. But not just that, we have seen also the opposition parties trying their best to give us a very strong electoral campaigns, which is a really good thing as Tanzanians. So we're expecting a very good and smooth elections from every party, whether it's opposition parties, the main political party right now, and as citizens as well. So all parties right now are in high spirits, I can say that.
All right, great there. Now, one final question. As an international relations student, who also deals in politics, political and international relations, I'd like to, know what the role of the international community has been in all of this.
Well, the international community has played a very supportive role in Tanzania's elections, and we welcome with their interest with respect to our sovereignty, because we do accept observers. We have seen previous elections before that observers are allowed from various international bodies, such as the African Union, such as the EU as well. But then they have, as long as they're respecting our sovereignty as a country and they're not interfering with it, then both hands are open for the international community. But also at the moment, we have seen an increased level of participation also from the international community. The EU and also AU as well, they've been discussing how the political situation is currently going on the build-up to the 2025 election, which is a good thing, because when it comes to democracy, you have to allow such kind of things to happen and not just conduct things the way you want them to be, such as maybe limiting the international community. So as I said before, as long as the Tanzanian sovereignty is fully respected, meaning that the EU or maybe the AU won't try to interfere with Tanzania's elections to an extent of maybe causing chaos or maybe trying to cause harm in any way. We welcome them with both hands, which is a very good thing, as we have seen in the previous elections. In 2020, there were observers. They came to attend the Tanzania's elections, and things went well. So this time, the international community can also play a very huge role to the success of Tanzania's elections of 2025.
All right, there. Thank you very much, Haitham, for joining us on the program today. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mesli.
All right. So with that, we've come to the end of today's show. We've spoken about the Tanzanian election and the build-up towards the election, which is taking place in October of this year. I do hope that you have been able to, learn one or two things from today's episode. I am still your host, Mercy Bambola. And if you would like to send us questions or suggestions about the show or the channel in general, you can always do so on our WhatsApp number, which is always on the screen. So till I see you next time, stay safe and goodbye.